Good afternoon and welcome to Pentair's Friday afternoon water break. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today we are going to talk about the products that Pentair has certified for your use in managing issues with emerging contaminants. And the one that seems to be of top of mind to today is the PFAs and PFOSs. And we can show you how we have some rather simple and easy products to apply for your customers and dealers' needs. Now, when we talk about certifications, NSF and ANSI 53, we have to understand that this is a larger category called health effects, and 53 is centered around carbon and ion exchange medias in cartridges and some systems, if they're certified this way, for health effects claims. And NSF 58 is an analogous one for ROs. So we're going to talk about 53 today. But understand each one of these certifications has a substack of certifications within them. So not every NSF 53 claim is equivalent to every other. You got to look at the fine print, so to speak, and see which 53 the product is certified for, and go from there, right? So not every NSF 53 certification is the same, i.e., you could have one for chlorine or turbidity or PFOAs in this case. So they're not all the same. Make sure you know what you're buying. And the current version of this standard is what we are testing our products to. You have to understand all of these standards are going to come under review about every 5 years at the EPA level, and then they're adjusted and adapted or nothing at all happens. But understand that this can be a changing environment in the future, as with all regulations. But this is the standard now, and this is what we're treating for. And the technologies that we're focusing on in our cartridges are carbon applications. And we have some wonderfully smart carbon engineers that work for us that are taking carbons from manufacturers and blending them to target the spectrum of the family of PFOA and PFOS compounds in there to meet this standard. So if you're wondering about what we're using, we're actually using a blend of carbons very similar to like a blend of fine wines. It's going to give you a different impact on your water system because we're selecting those things. So the reality of water treatment technologies, you want to understand what you're using because it's not all the same. Not even all activated carbon is the same. You can do a lot with this stuff. So understand what you're using and understand whenever we're using activated carbon or a resin to remove materials, those cartridges need to be changed on time or on a regular basis because there's um, an end to how much a thing can hold. And at a certain point, you may overwhelm a cartridge and it's no longer functioning, and it may actually be sloughing off stuff we don't want into the future. And that's true of all activated carbon. So make sure you're changing cartridges on time. And many of these compounds will be reduced by activated carbon, but are they validated to do so? Understand that ozone and ultraviolet light will break down some of these compounds into smaller pieces as they're being treated. So we want to understand that this product is going to be capable of capturing some of those breakdown species as well. So if you have questions about the medias you're actively using or would like to use more, we encourage you to consult with your media experts or your contacts at media OEMs to learn more about their specific technologies for your needs. Now, understand the implications of your choice of your technologies. Residential applications, discharge of RO and ion exchange are permissible in municipal sewers. They can also dispose of cartridges in their garbage, sending it to a landfill. Where you may need to be mindful is in commercial applications where you may have to meet discharge standards. Presently, this isn't fully regulated on the discharge side, but whatever happens on the drinking water side tends to cascade eventually to discharge. So understand you may have implications there and may need to consult folks on those discharge standards. Commercial applications may require you to collect these medias and dispose of it properly. And if you own a small business and you put this material onto your vehicle, then it transforms into commercial waste. So understand your customer may be able to dispose of cartridges in a way you may not because of your commercial designation. So understand your liabilities and particulars in your market or state or municipality. It's worth a half an hour call to your attorney or technical advisors on those accounts to make sure you're disposing of things properly, as we are trying to remove a toxic substance in some of these cases. Now, when we talk about the Fibredyne cartridge, and I'm a bit of a fanboy of this cartridge. I was using it in my home before I ever came to Pentair 15 years ago. I love the synergies of a complete depth filter and the leverage of powdered activated carbon in this design to give you massive surface area and contact with water while leveraging a true depth filter. And one of the great things about a depth filter in this tortured path is on pulsed flow in a normal household situation, the dirt reorganizes in these filters and it's limited by a final core, which gives me the filtration I want and desire. And these cartridges are going to be in a 0.5 micron size, but they flow the equivalent of a 10 micron comparable block. So you get wonderful full flow through these cartridges with 0.5 micron filtration and all the other benefits we're going to talk about, because we can vacuum mold this material with different blends of carbon, different blends of exchange resins and things like that to create a family of cartridges tailored to your specific contaminant removal needs. And imagine trying to get a piece of dirt through this tangled mat. Very, very difficult to do. Going to remove tons of debris. And one of the other things about cartridges is carbon block filters and GAC filters all produce carbon fines. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal until you enter a home or a business that has water using infrastructure that has opening and closing valves in it. In a home, ice makers in refrigerators. If you don't properly flush a cartridge, you're going to get this debris into units. And over time, it's going to wear down components. It's throwing grist into the works, right? And the great thing about the comparisons you see here, this is the ones on the right are the first flush within the first minute. And the last ones are after 5 minutes of flushing. So, and this is 5 micron filter paper. So this is large particulate relative to what we want to filter out. Fibredyne gets you in and out so much quicker on site, very, very quickly, cutting 10 to 15 minutes up to a half an hour, depending on the cartridge, to get it flushed without risking impacting equipment downstream. And if we impact valves, sometimes we can create a flood situation. So this limits technicians making mistakes in the field, trying to be in and out a little bit quicker. This helps solve that. A lot of companies just throw them in and flush them for 30 seconds and move on down the road. Now, what's great about a Fibredyne block is the increased flow through this. You can get at a 0.5 micron, an equivalent extruded carbon block, you're going to get double the life of that block. And the 10 micron version, you're going to get almost 4 times the life out of a 10 micron version of this block. I have specified this filter personally in very, very challenging places. And we've found, and I personally have found, that I will double the life of any existing carbon cartridge in there. If it's a comparable sized 4x20 carbon block, Fibredyne is going to give you at least double the life in that same situation. And that's just practical experience. And this is a wonderful compact design. This is a very affordable design to treat a home with, up to about 3 people in a home off of one cartridge. We're seeing 5 GPM. That's for the increased contact time you need to remove PFOS and PFOAs, up to 40,000 gallons, and it's internal tested to 80,000 gallons. And the reason we did that is because we didn't want to add the expense of a metered device here. So this is put it in 40,000 gallons, you're good to go. That's probably going to get you through a good chunk of the year. If you need more than that, you can plumb these in parallel. If you need to get higher flow rates, like my busy home where I get up to 10 on a frequent basis, I would have 2 of these in my home, but that is still much more affordable than, let's say, a backwashing carbon system or an anion exchange system on the end of my other equipment. 1 micron rating, we have some bacteria static protection as well. So we're getting rid of all that dirt and debris in the water as well. So it's a very, very wonderful combination here. And you're doing chlorine reduction too. So this is proprietary to Pentair, so it's a unique product. You're not going to find this anywhere. No electricity for those off-grid folks who may have some concern here. Wonderful in a well water application, but in those situations, I would suggest putting a sediment filter in front of it just because of the dirt loads involved. We have Fibredyne blends for lead removal. So if you have an area that may not have PFAS concerns on a municipal water source, but it's an older community, this is wonderful for that. I have townhomes in Toronto running off of one of these units in the garage that serves both units. Very, very cost effective there. And if you want to pair these with the FloPlus Protect for PFOS, you have lead and PFOS protection in series. 5 gallons per minute on the PFOS and 10 GPM for lead. And both of those do chlorine removal. And let's say you have a cabin or an RV or a kid going off to college. I did that for my own son. I grabbed a Fibredyne cartridge similar as this, but we have our lead reduction and a smaller version for PFOAs. I just popped this in a bucket of gravel and used flexible connectors, and I hooked it up under his sink while he was at school so he could have filtered drinking water in his dorm. So that's a wonderful upgrade for a college student, believe me, especially where we went to school. So the ultimate in removal techniques here for home, and I like to give these away for Christmas just because I'm a water person, but the Fresh Point RO system is very, very convenient for a homeowner to self-change filters if they need, and they have the proper certifications to go along with various regions of the world. Like if you rural communities and you deal with farmers like where I live, nitrate and nitrite is an important certification. And then you step up to GRO, the 475, the 4-stage, 75 gallons a day with a booster pump up to about 100 gallons a day. Tons of certifications on all of these. And if you have someone who's really concerned about the quality of water they drink, the 5-stage is going to address those concerns. All the certifications under the sun on that one. Take a look at those closely. I think there's like 17 to 20 of them or more that we keep adding them as we need them to these units, but they're color coded for simple change out when you need it. Like I said, I have a drinking water RO at home just for these sorts of things, mainly for what we don't test for, because I'm just wired that way. but I'm also the house where I have teenagers dropping by to get water to and from school on their way to practice in my small little town. So the water is well known in my community.